Hi, this is Lily Joseph doing my video essay question number 4 on digestion. So we were told to describe the sequence of events that happens when you're very hungry and you walk into a room and you smell delicious food cooking. So the digestive process actually begins before you eat. So when you walk into that room and you smell that food, your mouth begins to salivate to prepare for the food to be ingested and to do the whole digestive process. So the process of digestion starts well before the food reaches the stomach. Whenever we see, smell, taste, or imagine eating, our salivary glands, begin producing saliva, which your mouth is watering pretty much. The flows of saliva is set in motion by a brain reflex that is triggered when we sense food or even think about food or think about eating. In response to the sensory stimuli, the brain sends impulses through the nerves that control the salivary glands and telling them to prepare for meal, to prepare to eat. As you start chewing the food, the saliva moistens it and makes it easier for swallowing. A digestive enzyme called amylase, which is found in the saliva, starts to break down the food and break down some of the carbohydrates, starches, and sugars in the food before it leaves the mouth. Once we swallow, it moves the food into the throat or the pharynx, that we know, which is a passageway for food and air and is about 5 inches long. From the throat, the food travels down the muscular tube in the chest called the esophagus, and waves of muscle contractions force the food down through the esophagus into the stomach. At the end of the esophagus, a muscular ring called the sphincter allows the food to enter the stomach and then squeezes shut to keep food or fluid from flowing back up into the esophagus and out of your mouth. The stomach muscles churn and mix the food with acids and enzymes, breaking it down into much smaller pieces. And an acidic environment is needed for the digestion to take place in the stomach. Glands in the stomach lining produce about 3 quarts of these digestive juices a day. In most everything we eat, we need further digestion to travel through the intestine before being absorbed. By the time the food is ready to leave the stomach, it has been processed into a thick liquid called chyme. And then, sorry, I wrote notes that I'm looking at. The chyme is then squirted down into the small intestine where digestion of food continues so the body can absorb the nutrients into the bloodstream. The inner wall of the small intestine is covered with millions of microscopic finger-like projections called villi, and the villi are vehicles through which nutrients can be absorbed in the body. From the small intestine, food that has not been digested travels to the large intestine through a valve that prevents food from returning to the small intestine. By the time the food reaches the large intestine, the work of absorbing nutrients is nearly finished, and the large intestine's main function is to remove water from the undigested matter and form solid waste that can be excreted. And then the digestive process is complete, and yep. Thank you for listening, and sorry if I messed up a couple times. Thanks.